Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. Just like the rest of you, we're sheltered in place, which means that getting together to fly isn't really an option. So I was trying to think of video ideas, and I thought it might be cool to share some of the process that we went through when buying our Cherokee 6 November 29er05 Bravo. While I don't have a lot of videos, I do have pictures to help visualize the process that we went through to purchase and upgrade 05 Bravo. If you don't know anything about airplanes, I hope you can learn a thing or two by watching this video. If you're thinking about purchasing an airplane, I think there are a lot of valuable insights that I'll have in the video to maybe help you make that process smoother. If you have a question, suggestion, or really anything else to say, jump down in the comments section. We love when you guys start conversations down there. That's really how we grow this awesome community. If you want to help our channel out, consider subscribing and turning on post notifications, as that also goes a long way to help our channel specifically. So with all of that out of the way, let's start at the beginning of how we bought our Cherokee 6 November 29er05 Bravo. To understand the process that we went through to buy our plane, you have to understand why we wanted to buy it. I did all of my flight training in a 1970 Piper Cherokee 140. That was a great plane for us, and it was a great trainer, but it didn't exactly leap off the ground with 4 adults in it. One day when we were loaded up for a trip together, we were kind of at the edge of max gross weight. We ran the numbers and decided it was safe to take off, but after we cleared the trees at the end of the runway, we decided it was probably time to start looking for something a little bigger and more capable. In the next few months, my dad, brother, and I scoured the internet looking for the right plane for us. We wanted to find a plane that would best fit our mission, and we decided that as a family that travels together often, we wanted something that had 6 seats. So that narrowed down our options a lot. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of why we chose the Cherokee 6 over other planes, because that could be a video by itself. Suffice it to say, we started looking for the right plane for us. Now, on Thanksgiving Day 2017, we were heading to a 5K race, and my brother and I happened to be checking the online listings and saw 05 Bravo pop up. So within a couple minutes of the listing, my dad actually called the broker and secured a spot first in line for the plane. So we knew it was the right plane for us as long as everything checked out, because it really had everything we wanted in a plane. The price was right, and it just looked like it was going to be a good option. It was a 1979 model year, had all the Lopresti speed mods, had good paint and interior, and had good avionics for IFR training and flying. With the engine nearing 2,200 hours since the last overhaul, the price in the listing left room for us to consider an overhaul for the engine from the start, so that was always in the plan. The situation seemed great, but there were a couple of holdups for us. First, I had to finish my flight training. While I was getting close to being ready to take the check ride, school and sports kind of were getting in the way of being consistent with flying, and I wanted a couple weeks where I really could hit it hard before I went and took my check ride. The second thing was we still owned a plane, and rationally my parents didn't want to have to deal with owning 2 planes at the same time. This is where things started to fall into place. As my dad was talking to the broker, he made it clear that us buying 05 Bravo was contingent on selling the 140. Well, the broker helped us out, and within a couple of days actually had a buyer for our plane. So everything was starting to work out really well. Graciously, the buyer actually agreed to take possession of the plane after I finished my flight training. So on December 28th, 2017, I passed my FAA check ride and got my pilot's license, and a couple of months later, we ferried the plane to the new owner in Tennessee. That trip is actually the first video that we ever posted on the channel, so I'll link that here so you guys can all watch it. I apologize for the bad quality. The previous owner of 05 Bravo actually needed to keep the plane a little while longer as well, so that gave us time to plan out exactly how we wanted to go through the process and inspections to get the best and safest outcome possible. So luckily, we actually had some connections with the local Cherokee 6 and Saratoga Guru shop. As a side note, we strongly recommend getting a shop that knows the particular plane that you're looking at. They tend to recognize things pretty quickly since they know the planes well, and they can actually predict what might go wrong in the future, so you can use that during the pre-buy negotiation process. We also opted not to do a traditional pre-buy inspection, but instead did an annual inspection. Pre-buys can tend to gloss over things and don't go in depth into the mechanics of the plane like an annual inspection would. So we worked out a deal with the previous owner that anything our mechanics deemed a return to service item he would pay for, and other optional upgrades and maintenance we would cover. In early January 2018, a ferry pilot delivered the plane to our mechanic. mechanics. It was an icy day, and in retrospect, I don't know what the pilot was thinking. He landed with about 2 inches of ice on all the leading edges, and I was able to pull a chunk of ice off that kept the shape of the wing. It's a testament to how much ice the plane can hold, but I'll put that on my list of things never to do, ever. When we pushed the plane into the hangar, we were ecstatic. Anyone who's bought a plane before probably knows the feeling that I'm talking about. The exterior looked great and the interior looked great too. But initially the mechanics were a little bit skeptical of the mechanical soundness of the plane. It was obvious it hadn't been cared for as well as we would have hoped, and it had some hangar rash where it had been pushed into the back of a hangar, and the elevator and rudder surfaces were crumpled. But after a few days, the mechanics actually told us that the bones of the plane were good and gave us the green light to buy it. They did a wonderful job of putting together a multi-page document of all of the return to service items and any other optional upgrades that we might want to do. We ended up doing some optional replacements, such as replacing plastics, repainting wheel pants, and things like that during the annual. While all of this was going on at the shop, the engine was also undergoing a complete overhaul to factory new limits. We had our overhaul done at HiFast Aviation, and we're lucky enough to be able to check in on the process occasionally. Unfortunately, some delays with shipping and other issues caused the overhaul to take a few months, which was frustrating, but in the end we were very happy with the results. The guys at HiFast have experience working with high RPM race engines, so their attention to detail really shows. We fully expect that if we treat the engine right, we'll get quite a few hours out of it. Once the engine was finished and the mechanics got it back, they started the process of reassembling everything. During that process, they re-rigged control surfaces and tightened tolerances and really worked tirelessly to get the plane up and running again for us, since they knew we were itching to get flying after quite a few months. They even surprised us with some nice touches like repainting the prop and replacing the stickers, all of this basically making the plane feel new when we got it back. Finally, after about 5 months, we got to take possession of the plane. It was an awesome time for the whole family, but my dad and I specifically were excited to fly such a capable airplane after coming from the 140. When I first flew the plane, I only had about 45 hours total time and had gone quite a few months without flying. I was a little apprehensive about the transition, but after just a couple of hours with my instructor, I felt at home. I could talk for hours about what we learned when buying 05 Bravo, but I hope you gained some useful insight in these few minutes. Getting the Cherokee 6 has completely changed the way that we look at flying. It's allowed us to enjoy some unforgettable experiences with family and friends, enjoy how beautiful the world can be, and at times, how being a pilot is more than just flying an airplane. It's a process of decision-making and constant learning. That's really why we made Aviation Fix. We want to share our love of aviation with you, not in a generic way, but specific to us and how we enjoy flying. We hope that along the way, you can get a taste of the aviation bug and come join this awesome community that keeps growing each and every day. If you enjoyed this video or any of our others, please consider subscribing and turning on post notifications, because it really goes a long way to help us keep making this content. I hope you're all staying safe, and don't forget to get your aviation fix.